Certainly when they're premature, they're not as fully developed, but even so, for him to be this weak and just to be lacking energy like this, I'm just a bit worried there might be something else going on with him.
Chris and one of the Bondi Clinic interns, Ali, are answering an SOS after devastating bushfires on the outskirts of Sydney.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm Chris, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is Ali.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Now, where's the alpaca?
Through here.
Through here? Oh, so this is him here.
Yeah, this is little Jersey.
Hey, little guy.
And his mum fine.
He looks exhausted, doesn't he?
Yeah, poor little fella.
The tiny alpaca is just 3 days old.
So these guys were evacuated from the fire zone?
Yep. I was hoping it would all be okay, but unfortunately not.
I mean, they don't react to stress very well, do they?
No, no. Our farm is under threat of bushfires. The fire line is only 6 kilometres away from us, so I made the decision that we had to get the animals off.
Fine was lucky that Debbie managed to get her out of that bushfire zone in time, but in the stress of being shipped out of there, it's brought on the early delivery of her little baby. And now Jersey is fighting for his life. He's just been lying around like this, has he?
Yeah, he tries to sit up sometimes and then he's exhausted again.
Yeah.
When Jersey first came out, he was limp. Normally within an hour they're up and feeding and they're fine, and he wasn't moving. He was laying there shivering.
Certainly when they're premature, they're not as fully developed, but even so, for him to be this weak and just to be lacking energy like this, I'm just a bit worried there might be something else going on with him. You look at little Jersey and he looks barely alive. Now, even though he wasn't burnt by the bushfires, they could still cost him his life. Yeah, obviously the stress explains why Mum has done what she's done, and being taken out of her home environment, trucked down here, obviously has a big impact. Now, her problem has become her baby's problem.
Yep.
And I guess that's what we need to address here.
Chris and Bondi Clinic intern Ali have been called out to help Jersey. The 3-day-old alpaca has barely moved since birth. His mother was stressed into a premature labour by the bushfire evacuation.
The first thing I noticed is just how incredibly weak this little guy is. He's having trouble even raising his head. He really should be bouncing around, and he, importantly, should be feeding as well. He's doing neither of those.
Temperature's 38.3.
Okay. I just want to check his light reflexes, just his eye. So mobile phones can be very handy.
Yeah.
So I'm checking two things. First of all, just to see if he has some response to that bright light, but also just to see if he's got any flicking in that eye. So if his eyes are flickering back and forth, then it can indicate that he's got some sort of brain dysfunction at the moment. Okay.
They're relatively stable there. He just shouldn't collapse like that.
Yeah.
On the outskirts of Sydney, Chris is looking for clues as to why prem baby Jersey is fighting for his life.
He just shouldn't collapse like that.
Yeah.
Nothing truly explains why Jersey is so flat. Then all of a sudden, Debbie tells me something that may unlock this whole mystery.
After she had Bub, I noticed her legs had a lot of blood on it, which is quite unusual. They're normally clean.
It's interesting. Having the blood on the back of her legs isn't a normal thing.
No.
It's possible that because she was under stress, the umbilical cord hasn't torn correctly, and he actually may have lost a lot of blood at that time. Now, if he's lost a lot of blood, I mean, how does an animal that's anemic behave? Exactly like him.
Yeah,
very
just
weak, very
tired.
floppy, very tired. And without that blood, he's also at risk of infections and also at risk of developing other problems as well. Knowing now that Jersey's birth was accompanied with a lot of blood makes me worried that he's anemic. He needs one thing, that's blood transfusion. very, very generous alpaca. You know any around here?
Oh, definitely. I can pick you one.
Okay.
Chris has come to the aid of 3-day-old Jersey. The little alpaca is clinging to life after being born prematurely during a bushfire evacuation.
My hunch with Jersey really revolves around two things. First of all, he's anemic and he's lost some blood during the act of being born. But secondly, he's missing some antibodies. Really, the perfect medicine for Jersey right now is blood transfusion.
But first, Chris has to catch a willing donor.
All right, now which one's Boston?
He's over there.
He's the taller one in the middle there?
Yep, arms up.
There we go, good man. A very important job to do. All right, buddy, let's go. Even though Boston is a very calm alpaca, he still may not take too kindly to me taking about 200 mils of blood out of his jugular vein.
Good man.
All right, now when I touch there, I can see the jugular moving up and down. So we're in the right spot. Little burp, Boston.
No, he's about to spit at you.
Is he? That's what you want to
That
hear?
noise was.
He's just getting one armed and ready. Fair enough, I'd be doing the same thing. So you can see it's already running quite nicely there.
Beautiful.
I may be trying to sweet talk you right now, but what you are doing is very generous and very kind, and it's going to make a big difference to a young alpaca's life. So I appreciate it, and I'd also appreciate it if you didn't spit on me once we're done. How's that?
All right, so that's a good amount of blood there. Thanks, Boston. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
My hope with this blood transfusion is really two things. First of all, it'll mean more red blood cells in his system and therefore more energy. But secondly, he's getting a big hit of antibodies. Both of those things combined should really perk him up.
There we go, mate. You're very brave.
Seeing how weak he is, the fact is this blood transfusion has to have an effect soon. Otherwise, our little mate's in big trouble. All right, all done. Yep.
Chris has just given Jersey a blood transfusion in a bid to save the newborn alpaca's life.
I'm hoping his body is now being filled up with energy, with antibodies. He's going to be carrying so much more oxygen around. All I can do right now, though, is wait.
But now Jersey's mum also needs Chris's attention.
All right, so we need 2.5 mils for her.
An antibiotic injection should prevent any post-birth infections.
Oh, you've been very good.
She was trying.
She made her feelings very, very clear, though. Okay, so that should be the whole family taken care of. This time you're waiting for your treatment to take effect, minutes can seem like hours.
It's now been 20 minutes since his transfusion, and so far, Jersey has failed to respond.
Try to get up
Everybody
there.
standing up?
Chris has performed a blood transfusion on 3-day-old Jersey. The preemie baby has barely moved since he was born.
Come on, little buddy, come on. Nice work.
This is just amazing.
First steps.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm relieved. He looks good.
He's never done this before. This is just amazing.
That's great. It's really good. Jersey's hopped to his feet and run straight over to his mum and suckled for the first time in his life. It's incredible.
So cute to hear him sucking.
When you meet a little guy like Jersey whose life is in turmoil, you hope that in some way you can make a difference. And seemingly today, we've done just that.
everyone.
As for Jersey, the little alpaca has now fully recovered from his difficult start to life.
I didn't think Jersey would live, straight out. After 3 days of him not improving and in fact getting worse, I didn't think he had a chance. So I think what Chris did was just amazing. He's obviously saved his life and he's just gone from strength to strength. He's playing with all the others. He's just a normal cria now, which is just wonderful.
To have a chance that you've taken pay off like it has with Jersey is just one of those incredibly special things. Jersey is one of the truly unique bushfire survival stories.
I'm Dr. Kate Adams and welcome to Bondi Pet, a new destination for pet health and well-being. Our site is filled with everything to fulfill your pet's needs so that you can make healthy choices for your pets.